Namo Namaha Bhavtam Sarvesham Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And continuing in a series, Learning Sanskrit through Gita, today we are going to decode two shlokas together. That is the shloka 33 and 34 of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. And since they are within the same context, same continuation of dialogue, so it is better we take both the shlokas together and decode them together. So yeah, without wasting any more time, let's quickly dive in today's video. Okay, so these are the shlokas that we'll decode today. Let me go through the shloka ones. येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो राज्यं भोगाः सुखानि च त इमेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणान् त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्याः पितराः पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामहाः मातुलाः श्वशुराः पौत्राः श्यालाः सम्बन्धिनस्तथा. So those were the shlokas, and this here is the Sandhi Vichhed version of the same shlokas. So you see some sandhis that are happening, nah rajyam, but on original Sanskrit text it is written as no rajyam. So this is a ukara sandhi. Similarly, ime vasthita, but on Sandhi Vichhed we have two separate words, ime avasthita. So this is a purva roop sandhi. Then you have this compound word pranan tyaktava, which on Sandhi Vichhed opens as pranan tyaktava. So this is again another kind of sandhi, and if we take a look at the 34th shloka also, same thing. We have two sandhis that are happening here also. Actually same sandhis. Putras tathaiva, this opens as putraha tathaiva, and then you have sambandhinstatha, which opens as sambandhinah tatha. So same kind of visarga sandhi is happening here also. All the sandhi details is available in the PDF file. You can download the PDF from the link in the description box. So download those PDF files, go through the sandhi rules, go also through the word by word decoding of the entire shloka in case I miss out anything in the video. So all the sandhi details are already covered in the PDF sheet. We also have separate sandhi recap videos in our channel. You can visit them. For us, let us start now decoding the shloka. Okay, so we are starting with the word kangshitam. And kangshitam is coming from here. Yesham arthe kangshitam. Kangshitam simply means something is desired. That is the sense here. This particular form is coming from the same dhatu, so same verb root that we saw in the previous shloka also, kanksh. And kanksh means, I hope you remember, to desire, to wish for, to long for. And in the previous shloka, it was in the Uttam Purush, the first person form. Arjuna was saying about himself that aham kankshe, I desire. But here it is not in any verb form. Rather, this particular dhatu, this particular verb root is getting modified using this ta suffix. And we have already seen this suffix before also. This ta suffix, and the resultant word is changing into kangshit. This is the word kangshit. And we have already seen this ta suffix before. What does this suffix do? This suffix changes the verb root, the dhatu, into a verb-based adjective. It changes the dhatu, the action, into an adjective. And what does the adjective tell? This tells something is desired in the past form. In the past form, something was desired. That is the main meaning of this verb-based adjective that is formed. So suppose we have this verb root, this dhatu, pat dhatu. So pat we already know means to read or to study. So if I am using this in the form, this common form, pathati, patataha, pathanti. So this is a third person, that some third person did the action. And if I am saying pustakam pathati, so this means that someone studied, someone reads the book, someone studying the book, someone reads the book. That is the sense. But if I modify this dhatu using ta suffix, so the resultant word becomes adjective and it changes into pathita. And if now I am going to use this pathita with pustakam, so now this is going to describe this pustakam now, because this has become the adjective, verb based adjective. And pustakam is a neuter gender noun. So this pathit will also take the neuter gender form. And the pustakam pathitam, this will simply mean book that was read. So something is desired, kangshitam. Patitam, something is read before, something was read. And here in this case, a book that was read. Kangshitam is desired, something that was desired. That is the sense here. So I hope this ta suffix is very clear now. And since kangshit is the base, the pratipadik that forms, but here we are using kangshitam. So obviously this is describing some neuter gender noun. What is that noun? We'll see now. So what is desired? And the response is Rajyam. Rajyam means kingdom. And you see this word Rajya. We already seen this word in the previous shloka. Rajya means kingdom, and this is the neuter gender noun. And now you can make the connection that since this word, this verb based adjective is describing this noun, Rajya, since this is a neuter gender noun, so this is also taking the neuter gender form, Kangshit, changing into Kangshitam. Simply, Kangshitam Rajyam, a kingdom that is desired. That is what Arjuna means by saying this. So now let us move on. And now the question is, and what else? What else is desired? And we have two more things, bhogaha sukhani cha kangshitam. So this bhogaha is obviously coming from the word bhog. And again, we have seen these words, similar words in previous shloka. And this is just like a continuation of previous shloka. Previous shloka, Arjuna was saying, I don't desire the kingdom, nor the luxuries or the pleasures that come along. I don't desire any of that thing. In this shloka, he is again going to prove that point only. He is rather giving more concrete arguments in this shloka that we will see that why I don't desire these things, why the entire this prospect of war is not a good idea. So again, he is just giving more and more arguments to his insecurities, to his fear. That is what we are going to see in the shloka. But anyway, bhogaha, this is obviously coming from this word bhog. And again, plural, first case plural, so bhog changing into bhogaha, simply meaning luxuries, all the luxuries. And sukhani, again coming from the pratipadik sukha. See, both these words are being used in first case plural. But why they have different forms? As you can already imagine, bhog is a masculine gender word. That is why its plural is changing into bhogaha. Sukh, this is a neuter gender word. And that is why its plural is changing into sukhani. Just as Ram changes into Ramaha, but Phala changes into Phalani. Same concept. So that is the thing. So the entire sentence, Rajyam Bhogaha Sukhani Cha Kangshitam, that the kingdom, the luxuries and the pleasures, all these things that are desired, and further we'll see what is happening. One point, don't get confused with that point. This Kangshitam, that means is desired. This is being attached with this word Rajyam, right? We already seen that Rajyam is a neuter gender noun. This Kangshitam is also neuter gender adjective because this is pointing towards this. So even though this Kangshitam is desired, is only pointing towards Rajyam, that the kingdom is desired. But this is like an implied sense that Arjuna is talking about all these three things, that the kingdom, the luxuries and the pleasures that will come along with it, all these three things that are desired by everyone who is fighting the war. So there is no need to repeat this verb, this adjective. That is what I mean. This is just an implied sense that this Kangshitam, this belongs to all three, Rajyam, Bhoga, Sukhani. All these three things that are desired. That is the sense here. Okay. And if we'll move on, now Kesham Arthe. So leave this. Let us directly see this line. Yesham Arthe Rajyam Bhoga Sukhani Cha Kangshitam. Yesham Arthe. This simply means for whose sake, for all whose sake. Now let us understand this word Yesham first. Yesham comes from the Pratipadik Yad, and Yad means one who. So again, I hope by now you are aware of all these simple pronouns, the common pronouns that we are using again and again in Sanskrit. So you have Yad, that means one who. Then you also have Tad. Tad, I know a lot of you will be familiar, that. And you also have similarly Etad. Etad simply means some things that are closer by. So this. So suppose in a classroom, a teacher has written some problem in the blackboard and she is saying that that student will solve the problem. So she is going to use this pronoun, this sarvanaam, that student. Suppose a student is sitting in the last bench. So that student solve the problem. Or suppose if someone is sitting in the close by to the teacher. So she will simply say, this boy, this student will solve the problem. Okay. And suppose she does not have any particular student in her mind. She is simply saying that one who solves this problem will get a reward. In that sense, that you don't have a particular person in mind, you are just referring to a certain group of people. So one who. So in that sense, we use this pronoun yad. And they have their very similar kind of forms also, no? That tad. This, if you're referring to a boy, so you will use saha, that boy, saha balakaha. And similarly, you have yah, that one who does this. So in that sense, these pronouns are used. Yad, tad, etat, all have more or less similar kind of form. Okay, and this arthe simply means for the sake. This simply means for the sake. So if I want to say for my sake, so I will say mam arthe. Mam we already know. Mam is my. So mam arthe will mean for my sake. If I want to say for his sake, so I will use the sixth case of this pronoun tad. So this in sixth case becomes tasya, right? We have seen. So tasya arthe becomes for his sake. And suppose I want to say for their sake, lot of people. So plural. So I am going to use the plural of this pronoun tad. Tad in sixth case plural changes into tesham. Right? Tesham. So tesham arthe will mean for their sake. But here in the shloka we are using yesham arthe. And yesham arthe simply means for all whose sake. So I don't have a particular person or particular group of person in mind. I am referring to in general way I am referring for all whose sake. That is the sense these two words are giving. So yesham, you already understand, is the sixth case plural of the pronoun yad, and arthe simply means for the sake. So for the sake of all whose, or in short you can say for whose sake, for all whose sake. Okay, so in all, yesham arthe rajyam bhogaha sukhani cha kanchitam simply means for all whose sake kingdom, pleasures and luxuries, these things are desired. So Arjuna is saying this and he will continue more, that we shall see. So this is the context. For all whose sake these things are desired. And let us move forward now. Now he is saying te avasthitaha, that for all whose sake these things are desired, te avasthitaha, they are stationed. That is the sense he is continuing, Arjuna is continuing. This avasthitaha, again we have also seen this word before. Avasthita comes from the pratipadik avasthit, and avasthit simply means someone, something that is stationed, something that is present, positioned at somewhere, someplace. And since it is referring to all those people, so Arjuna is referring to these set of people as they, like they. Okay, so te, you can already guess, this is coming from the pronoun tad, and tad in first person plural. Sorry, in first case, prathama vibhakti plural, this changes into te, saha tau te. So te means they. So now he's talking about those set of people for whose sake these things are desired. That they, that is te, avasthitaha, they are stationed. So since this is an adjective, it is taking the same first word case plural form. So avasthit changing into avasthitaha. That is what is happening here. Te avasthitaha, they are stationed. They are stationed where? That will be the obvious second question, and that is what is happening. That te avasthitaha where? So yuddhe. Te yuddhe avasthitaha. Stationed yuddhe in the war. Simple sentence, right? That yuddh is the pratipadik, and since I want to say stationed in yuddh, so I am using the seventh case, saptami vibhakti. So yuddh changing into yuddhe. So te yuddhe avasthita, they are stationed in the war. So by now you already must be understanding the point Arjuna is trying to bring Krishna to, that all these people for whom these things are desired, we are fighting this war, they themselves are present in the war. And he further describes this brutal condition, that kim kritva, having done what? Having done what these people are present in the war. So tyaktava, having abandoned or having surrendered. Tyaktava. Tyaktava is coming from the dhatu tyaj. Tyaj means to abandon or to surrender, to give up, in that sense. Okay. And here we are again modifying this dhatu using another suffix, twa suffix. All these suffixes we have already covered so many times in previous videos. Twa suffix simply changes the meaning of the dhatu, the verb, into meaning after doing the action. After doing the action, having done the action. So after abandoning, after surrendering, or you can also say having abandoned or having surrendered, having given up. In that sense, this tyaj is being modified using twa suffix. Tyaj plus twa, the word becomes tyaktva. This is how it changes. So anyways, tyaktva, having abandoned or surrendered. Now the question will be, having surrendered what? And the response we get from the shloka is pranani tyaktva, that having surrendered their lives. Now, don't take it in a literal way that they have given up their lives. It simply means that all those people that are present in the war, they have already given up, they have already surrendered their lives, because there is no guarantee that they will even survive this war. And with the scale of this war, everyone already knows that only a handful of people are going to survive this war. So, in a sense, they have already given up their lives, they have already abandoned their lives. And Arjuna does not stop here. That punaschikani and what else? And now he is saying dhananicha, that pranana dhananicha tyaktva. Dhanani, this obviously is coming from the word dhan. And dhan does not mean wealth. By dhan, he is simply meaning, that is why he is using the plural also. He is using the plural form, right? Dhan is changing into dhanani. And by plural, he is simply meaning that the wealth, the properties, their houses, everything. So in general, he means everything that a person owns. So having abandoned dhanani, the entire wealth, their properties, their houses, everything, and having abandoned, having surrendered their lives, pranan. So again, since pran is a masculine gender word, that is why in plural it is changing into pranan. But dhan is a neuter gender word, that is why in plural it is changing into dhanani. Again, difference. Why? Because this is a masculine gender word, this is a neuter gender word. So we can see from this statement that Arjuna, he is simply trying to voice out the paradox that is troubling his mind. And he is saying this to Sri Krishna, that for all whose sake we are even fighting this war. We are fighting this war to get the empire back from Kauravas. And then once we get the empire back, all the luxuries and all the pleasures will come. But all these allies that have joined this war, all the kings and everyone who has attended, who has come here in Kurukshetra to fight this war, they have already given up these luxuries. They have already given up their empires. They have left their families. They have surrendered their lives, their families, their comfort of home, and they have come here to join in the war. And we all know that a war of such a scale, only a handful of people are going to survive this war. So even those who survive this war, they will also not relish this victory, because once when they return back their home, there they will find women who have lost their husbands. They will find children who have lost their parents, their fathers, their grandfathers. So you have widows back at home, you have orphans back at home. So no one is going to emerge victorious from this war, because the people that are dead, they have already gone. Only their widows, their orphans have left. And for us who will survive this war, the handful of people, they will also not able to enjoy these things, because they have lost so many of their relatives and everyone. So it is a total loss for everyone. So that is the paradox that he is telling Sri Krishna, that even though we are fighting this for empire and for luxuries, for happiness, already these things have been abandoned, have been surrendered by these fighters, and they have come here to give up their lives, to lose their lives for this cause. So this is a complete paradox. So that is all we get from this shloka. And this shloka, the 34th, this is simply because here he's talking about some people, all these people, these warriors that are present in the war. And in this 34th shloka, he is simply calling out the names now. He's calling out specifically whom he is referring to. So, ime. And this ime is coming from this shloka. Ime simply means this or these people. Actually, this is a plural, right? So, ime, this comes from the pronoun idam. And idam means this. And since he's talking about all these people for whom he just said all these sentences, all these things, so these people, and these are the people that he's referring to. So, a very simple shloka, just the different names you see. Acharyaha, teachers, pitraha, father figures. So, pitraha, this is again, all these are in plural. You can see. Pitraha, the pratipadik is pitra. This is a rikarant. This is a rikarant word. We have seen this words before. And in plural, in first case, plural, this changes into pitraha. So, acharya changes into acharyaha. Pitra changes into pitraha. Putra changes into putraha, simply meaning sons. Then you have pitamaha, grandfather figures. Matulaha, you have uncles. Shvashuraha, you have father-in-laws. Pautraha, you have grandsons. Shyalaha, you have brother-in-laws. And Chatatha as well, Sambandhinaha. Sambandhina simply referring to in general, all other relatives. So this, all these words, Pratipadik is very easy to find out, right? Just as Ram changes into Ramaha, same. Matul, Matulaha. Shwashur, Shwashuraha. Pautra, that means grandson. Pautraha, so many plural people. This word Sambandhinaha, this is just a bit different. Sambandhina comes from the Pratipadik Sambandhin. This is a Nakarant Pratipadik, Sambandhin. And in plural, it changes into Sambandhinaha. So this is just a slightly different word. This is a Nakarant word, Sambandhina. Similarly, you have this word Atman. This is also a Nakarant word. So same thing happening here. But in all, this shloka is simply telling all, specifically mention all the people for whom he's talking about in this shloka. And if you'll see the Anvay, so same thing. Yesham arthe, for all whose sake, nah, this nah simply means ours, right? So our kingdom, Rajyam, Bhogaha Sukhani, luxuries and pleasures, Kangshitam, desired, is desired. Te Yuddhe Avastita, they are all stationed here in the war. And having done what? Having Tyaktava, having surrendered their pranan, dhanani, their lives and their wealth. Their lives, their comfort, their kingdom, everything they have surrendered and they have come here to join in Kurukshetra war. Ime, these people are, and then he's simply naming all the people, Acharya, Pitra, Putra, like all these people are somewhat related with one another. That is what the sense, and that is the entire meaning of these two shlokas. So yeah, that was it. That was the entire decoding of the 33rd and 34th shloka. Simple shloka, contextually, these things are getting more interesting because the arguments Arjuna is giving now, they are even more compelling for a normal reader like us. So that is it. Contextually very interesting. Sanskrit wise also we learned quite a few things, and that was it. So I'll meet you in the next video in the next shloka. Download the PDF files and go through it because we have combined two shlokas, so a lot of material. Download the PDF files and just go through it in your own time. So but anyways, I'll meet you in the next video with the next shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy. Vayam puna milamaha. Dhanyavad.